Welcome to Coda for our game number 1 of this best of 3. This is the losers bracket semifinals, basically. It is kind of like the quarterfinals of the tournament, but whoever beats this guy will indeed be able to advance on to the losers bracket finals. And of course, this is where the money starts to pay out for this event. It's not a lot of money, but of course it is a little bit of something. So in the bottom left-hand corner, our yellow Terran player, this is Havoc. And in the top left-hand corner, this is our purple Zerg. He put this LAN together. This is Blast. Hopefully, Blast isn't committing too hard to trying to see if it's a proxy rax. He did get proxy raxed on one of the 4-player maps earlier in this tournament, and he did lose to it, so he's maybe a little bit salty about that. He's actually going to be scouting out the far spawn, hoping that his opponent is there. Unfortunately, he won't quite be correct. He's going to have to live with that mistake for the rest of his life. The Reaper, of course, will most likely head north first and get the scout off that way. He could definitely head over to the east to try to scout over there. Would be a little bit unfortunate for that Reaper. But Pool going to be coming along nicely. Of course, I believe it was Hatch before Pool, as Hatches tend to take a little bit longer to build than a Pool. So the hatchery will, of course, finish up in due time. But on a 4-player map, certainly not too crazy of a build. 18cc going to be coming down for Havoc, or I guess even 19cc, as this Reaper is going to be able to kill off that drone. Bye-bye. Gets the kill. And we'll be able to drop down his command center, get his macro on the way. First couple of lings are out. Only 2 lings thus far. Isn't committing too hard to trying to defend against this Reaper. Of course, he knows, like, all right, if I keep my lings on the high ground in the correct position, I don't lose any of my lings. I can buy time until my queen comes out. 1 ling goes down. Oh, 2nd ling goes down. Of course, Havoc, on the back end of this, he's not going 3 Reaper. Killing those first 2 lings would be a much bigger deal if he was going 3 Reaper, but he instead is going for the faster command, or faster factory, and of course, his command center is mostly complete. So foregoing the additional Reapers will allow him to get out that factory that much more quickly. And if Havoc is paying attention, then he indeed knows that Blast dislikes playing against mech. And I don't know if Havoc ends up going mech in this game, because I've never seen Havoc play mech. He's always been more of a bio guy. He likes his aggression and his Hellbat Marine pushes. Sometimes they don't do quite as much damage as he would have liked. Gets himself almost 2 drones. Forces a Spore Crawler to be made there. That's a little bit annoying, as those drones going to be trying to body block for those Reapers, but another drone nearly going down. Minor annoyances there. Killing himself a couple drones in total. 2 drones, 2 lings. Of course, one of them was the scouting drone, but beside that, forcing a couple of Spore Crawlers as well. And if he heads into the natural, he could actually snipe that drone, which is low on HP. Will get the Creep Tumor just in time. That's so annoying when you're like, oh yeah, the Creep Tumor that I spotted down just gets sniped pretty much as quick as possible. 2 base, kind of gasless. Going to be dropping down the gases only now. So, of course, very much delayed in terms of any of the tech options that Blast could be going for. He's not worried about getting out a super fast Zergling speed, not worried about, you know, getting crazy numbers of those tech units out. Instead, the Roach Warren is on the way. Snipes down 2 more Creep Tumors. Havoc is being so annoying. You cuck. Not a cock, but a cuck in this particular case. Snipes, nope, doesn't quite get another Creep Tumor. Could maybe get it with the splash damage, but will be forced to pull back. And that Reaper almost going down, won't quite be eliminated. 4 Marines. This is getting to the point where it's like, this probably won't do anything, but oh boy, if it does do anything, this has the potential to do a lot of damage. Now, the Marines, again, this is one of those attacks which I feel like when I see this sort of stuff, it never does any real damage. But in this case, maybe it will. It will take some control from Havoc. Losing a Marine early on is definitely not a way to go. But you do have the Reapers there with the Hellions to add that extra bit of DPS. This is a Spore Crawler at the front, or at least it was before. He actually canceled it, made it into a Spine Crawler, because that would have been a mistake for sure. But of course, that means it's not anywhere near complete. Well, it's about 3/4 of the way complete, which is not complete enough for this attack. Roaches are going to be trying to hold off, but the Queen, a couple of them have gone down. There is one that's very low on HP. A couple more Roaches are on hold position. That's a kill on that Spine Crawler before it actually gets established, and there's 5 Roaches here on the defense, and they're starting to wear through these numbers, but a couple of them are very low on HP. They might end up getting picked off here, and Havoc definitely wants those kills. He's getting very close to killing them off, and he's like, oh, if only I could stay a moment longer to kill off those Roaches. I guess maybe if it's a Zerg who doesn't have Roaches, that attack does a lot of damage, but in this case, that attack not doing all that much. Sniping the Queens is definitely nice, shutting down the creep spread, denying potential injects, and, you know, third base Queen is always nice to have, and killing that third base Queen is nice as the Terran player, but not necessarily the attack that you want. Roaches now going to be pushing out across the map, and of course Havoc, he doesn't really have a whole lot to deal with this. He needs to, of course, repair these structures. If he can hold with the bunker, that would be what he needs, but SCV is going to be trying to body block for those Marines, and quite a few Roaches going down right on the front lines there, forcing the Roaches away. That was Havoc's pretty much main goal, as he does have this medevac, mostly full of Hellions. So Hellions and a single Marine inside of that medevac. Roaches coming back for the defense, getting split up by the kind of terrain and the pathing of this map. And Blast, oh, he can't see that medevac. It is just out of range. And now it's going to be dropping Hellions pretty much right on top of this Queen. Gets a nice little triangle around there, and he's like, oh, Roaches. Well, I didn't think there was going to be Roaches here. That kind of puts a damper on my plans. The one Widow Mine. The lucky Widow Mine. Will it get a fantastic shot off? Probably not. Is this a miss rally? This actually just might be a miss rally. Oh, there's the burrow. He might get a shot. Nope. Yeah, it's just a miss rally. For a second, at first I thought he was going for the watchtower to try to go there and, like, you know, pick off stray units that are there, which is kind of weird anyways, but it's something that you could do. And that Roach is like, he's just not paying attention, I guess. I don't know if Blast threw up the question mark to be like, no, I totally didn't see that, when actually he did, or if he just genuinely did not see the fact that there was that Widow Mine there, which is annoying, because if you're not looking for a Widow Mine on creep, you know, it's like just about impossible to see. But in this case, look at that decal. Like, that's hard. You can hardly even see that. They're like almost impossible to see. Fourth base going to be coming down for Blast. In classic Zerg fashion, he is spreading it out about as far as he can on this map. He is taking the farthest one away from his opponent, as we do have +1/+1 eventually going to be coming in for our Terran player, but also +1 attack for vehicles. As again, Havoc, he's a bio kind of guy, so not too big of a surprise to see him playing a bio mine style. He likes his medevacs, his marauders, his marines, and his mines. The classic quad NM combination that so many Terran players love to utilize. One kill. I don't know what that was. It could have very well just been a single ling that was used to bait out that mine. But, actually, there's like, are there 0 overseers right now? Wow, there are 28 overlords, and 0 of them are overseers. There's also a potential for like a really huge supply block if Havoc ends up pushing out across the map. For example, if he ends up loading up a lot of units and Marines get under a lot of those overlords, there could definitely be a lot of damage output going on. And supply block, when you're in the middle of when you're under attack and you just want to build units for the defense, if you get supply blocked hard enough, that could definitely be a problem. Widow Mine shoots again, and I guess Blast, like maybe he's got his sound disabled or something, but is he making, okay, there we go. He finally morphs in 2 overseers, and this attack It has maybe been spotted a little bit, but at the same time, Blast has not reacted necessarily to it just yet. Now, this is 3 medevacs. Well, it's 4 medevacs, but only 2 of them really had that many units. And then that's a really nice splash damage shot from the Widowmine. It doesn't really do necessarily killing blows, but it does a lot of splash damage to those units. Whoop. Got him. Tagged that Roach with just a bit of DPS. Those Overseers got pulled away from the army. They're going to come back. They should be in range of this Widowmine to scout it and have it killed off, but those units may have all been on a move command, which means that Widowmine will actually just stay there for even longer in this game. That's actually kind of silly that that Widowmine has survived this long in this game. All right, coming up to this attack, Blast is maxed out. He's got 121 army supply. He's going to be moving forward. Of course, a lot of this Roach Hydra can't actually attack in this particular event, but Stemmed Bio is pretty good. Tanks are good for support, and a lot of this Roach Hydra isn't able to deal with the tanks. There's no Vipers to stop that DPS. It's just Stem Bio using those medevacs, and that was a nice hold and a concave coming out from Havoc. Another shot with this Widowmine. He's only got 2 kills, but he has done a lot of just damage. In terms of total damage points, quite a few. No kills, though, really. Like, 2 kills. Oh, reload. And boom. Got him. I can't believe that Widowmine is still alive. And again, are there just no Overseers? Okay, so he's morphing in 4 Overseers now because last time he morphed in 2, and then he ended up just hotkeying them with his army and not killing off the Widowmine. Spire also going to be coming down, but 2-2, the race to 2-2 will be won by the Zerg player, which is, you know, happens fairly often. I feel like half the time I end up seeing the Bio-Terran get there first, and half the time it's the Zerg player. Oh, my word. That one Widowmine. Again, not really killing very many units, but that's silly. That's a lot of production facilities going to be coming down. Canceling the command centers as he does not want them anymore. Gets the 4th command center canceled as well. Even snipes that 3rd base. 3 SCVs end up going down, but of course the damage is killing that 3rd base, denying the additional mules. And Havoc, he was trying to build up that command center number, but he just could not get there. 2-2 is now finished for our Zerg, or for our Terran player. And that Widowmine fires once again. This is a lot of Terran Bio, but the tanks are not sieged up. This is still quite a few Hydra Roach, and this is a pretty good concave, but now the tanks are here. It's absolutely going to be going the Terran's favor. He pushes on forward, +2 vehicle weapons is going to be completed as we do have a 50 army supply advantage for Havoc as he just stutter steps forward and crushes through the army of Blast. He's able to snipe down a lot of the Roaches, and a lot of the Hydras now going to be finally joining up with that Widowmine, which apparently Blast did not end up seeing in the very beginning. He's going to be able to snipe down every single one of those Roach Hydras. GG, well played, and Havoc is your victor of that first game. And that's how it goes sometimes. Blast not able to make the Roach Hydra happen on that particular map. We'll see what map number 2 is going to be. It is going to be going into Blast's favor, and I expect him to turn up the aggression a bit more. Maybe it means, you know, some early pool of 10, 11, but I doubt it. I think he's going to be looking more for some sort of 2-base timing, whether it be Roach Hydra or some sort of like big Ling Flood. I expect him to bring the aggression, because if he lets Havoc play his own game, Blast can't deal with it. He needs to stop Havoc from powering up and getting that Terran macro underway. He needs to be able to cut him down before that and do the damage to him. So let's see. Next map. We'll figure out what the next game is going to be for you guys in just a couple of moments. Keep in mind, this is the semifinals in the losers bracket, so we do have the opportunity for the comeback and for one of these guys to come through the lower bracket and take down Spectrum in the grand final, because that's where we're all looking towards. We're looking towards that grand final where one of these guys is going to have to prove himself against the only GM in this tournament, which sometimes it's the unusual builds that end up being able to prove themselves for these guys. So we'll have to see what exactly happens. That mine was very troll. That was a silly, silly mine. Oh, is Spectrum actually... No, okay, I don't think Spectrum is in the is in the chat. I did see Beast. I accidentally said Beast when I meant Blast earlier, but Beast is indeed in the chat. And we're going to be kicking it onto Iron Fortress for our next map. So let's just get all of that stuff all set up. And then we will head into our game number 2. And again, it feels like Blast needs to do something aggressive early on because he can't let Havoc power up and play Havoc's game Havoc's way. He needs to do something about it. All right, guys, do you hear it? The violins of war, they're coming for you. They're rushing along. I actually have a second musical cue as well. Do you want to hear that one? The music of war is playing, my friends, and you will have to see who comes out first in this series. All right, welcome to Iron Fortress, as we have our best of 3, and currently up 1-0 in this series, our yellow Terran player. He is Havoc. And in the top left-hand corner, our purple Zerg player. This is Blast. Unfortunately, Blast scouting the wrong way. However, we do get ourselves the big 4-player maps, Cactus Valley, Iron Fortress. We get them out of the way pretty early on. Reaper Expand, once again, going to be coming out for Havoc. 15 Hatch, going to be coming out for Blast. The same openers of the last game, but it's also like the same openers of 90% of the players on ladder. So not necessarily a whole lot to pull from. Again, the openers of these guys, I'm curious to see where they go after this. It is going to be into a 15 hatch, 15 pool, so not a big deal. It's not triple hatch before pool, which again, not something that people really do all that much, at least not anymore. I remember, what was it, like 2013? Like in the days of Frost, when that was in the map pool, that was a bit more common. You saw it a bit more. Even guys like Spanishiwa, when he came back to the game, 6-8 months ago, he tried to make 3-hatch, 4-hatch before pool work, and he actually would be able to do it in some cases, because it's basically like if you scout your opponent going, CC or Nexus first, then you just go 4-hatch before pool. But it basically depends on them, going CC first and then not necessarily being very good. So we do have the CC now going to be going down. So Havoc, Reaper, fast expand. He's going to be going to Reaper, which he did go in the previous game as well. Probably won't line up a third Reaper. In fact, once he gets the second one, maybe he will. Well, once he sees where his opponent is, maybe he'll go for a third Reaper. But nope, he doesn't quite have the gas just yet. So, or wait, now I'm not sure. For a second, I was thinking it was 50 gas for a Reaper, but now I'm not sure. And by drone. Drone does get sniped. He turns it into an extractor to try to save it. So That didn't quite work out very well for Blast. He was able to save the other drone, maybe a little bit early, turning it into that Spore Crawler, and it does get the cancel on that one. Reapers now going to be heading back over. Factory going to be coming in for Havoc. And, of course, he wants to keep these Reapers alive so that he can go into some sort of Reaper Hellion nonsense. Snipes another drone. 2 drones in total have been cleaned up. Not necessarily too big of a deal just yet. It is a bit annoying to lose those drones, but not a game ender by any means. Just more and more drones coming in for Blast. Minorly supply blocked, but again, after a fair round of units, getting supply blocked for a couple of moments while your overlords are finishing, definitely not that big of a deal. Lings on the high ground. Blast loves doing this. Usually, well, the idea is to, of course, try to trap the Reapers. In this case, not really being able to do that. Reaper's now going to get a 3rd drone kill. If they can get a 4th drone kill, this is just getting a little bit silly. And this certainly does put Blast a little bit on edge. Ooh, loses a Reaper. So that's the nice thing for Blast. Losing the Reaper, or killing the Reaper, is, you know, it gives him a bit of peace of mind. But still, it's nowhere near enough, and losing those 4 drones is certainly a bit distressing as a Zerg. Roach Warren going to be coming up. We do have the safety tanks on the way. Hellions are staying back at home. He's not trying to push out with his first 4 Hellions and do damage. Nothing like that. Roach Warren. Where actually is that Roach Warren? Okay, so it's back in the back of the natural. It won't be spotted by that Reaper, which does get sniped nicely by Blast. Able to clean that up, no problem. Spine Crawler going to be coming in at the front as well as the layer on the back end. So 4 roaches on the way. If he adds on too many more, we're going to start to look for what is his attack plan. Is he going to be moving out immediately? Because for now, 6 roaches. This is a bit of a commitment when this could have been a lot more drones instead. Roach is now going to be pushing forward, and of course these Hellions are trying to skirt their way into the main base. They want to just skate on by these roaches, not have to deal with them, and instead go for the juicy drones, which first couple of drones do go down. 4 more do get eliminated, so, ooh, can he get any more shots off? No! Havoc not able to clean up any more than just the 4 drones, but that does put Havoc 3 workers ahead of Blast in this situation. Command Center going to be coming down, 3rd CC. Havoc is not the greediest Terran that we see in these situations. A lot of the other, well, some of the other Terrans in this tournament have indeed been going for much greedier openers, much faster 3rd command centers, and that sort of thing. But Havoc, he's going for the aggression, skirting right past those roaches. They looked at the roaches and they're like, nah, not worth it. Just gonna go on by. Now he's gonna have to deal with the roaches with his Hellions. He needs to mount the defense to hold the line. Blue Flame has finished up, and of course he would love to be in the midst of a bunch of drones and not in the midst of a bunch of roaches, but he needs to tank and buy a bit of time for his tank so that it can actually finish off these roaches. 2 SCVs going down. Well, it's nice, but again, Havoc is in a solid position with his 3rd command center about to finish up. He can go into that triple orbital. So losing a couple of workers is not the end of the world, but not being able to mine his natural, that's a bit more of the end of the world, a bit closer to the end of the world for Havoc. He's going to be trying to surround these roaches, goes in for the SCVs. He's able to clean up pretty much all of the roaches with the tank. I mean, that's really your DPS unit in that situation. When it's just single targets, Siege Tank is fantastic for single targets. And of course, well, in its primary gun mode. In Siege mode, deals quite well with the roaches as well. And in this particular case, if this is the only area that Havoc has to defend, then he just needs to focus on getting those Siege Tanks in the correct position, keeping them sieged up, and buying time. He does need a wall off, though. He's just now going to be starting his bunker and starts some... Ooh, he's actually locking the Hellions out, which means he needs to quickly lower his supply depot, get his Hellions inside, and then block the roaches. Put them up. He doesn't actually get the supply depots up. Instead, they are staying down, but he pushes away the roaches, those tanks. So important in this situation. Anchoring the defense of Havoc. And his supply depots are still down. He is not a fan of keeping his supply depots up. And I feel like he should be a fan of keeping his supply depots up. Also of repairing his buildings, because he needs their life force. Overseer is going to be helping with that high ground vision. Havoc, of course, doesn't want to have to deal with the roaches, but he's going to have to fight them. And this one tank is most likely going to get sniped. Blast can probably just come over here and then go for that killing blow on that siege tank. Its Overlord starting to get pushed away by the first couple. Oh, he's actually using the changelings to try to splash down the supply depots. Or he was trying to run the changeling into the base, and he just didn't realize it. Ooh, a little bit of a supply block there. A bit unfortunate with that. The fact that he's not starting any Overlords is a bit worrying. He is indeed starting a hatchery instead. He's going to be taking his 4th hatch, which, again, very important for all of those Zerg players. And now he tries to build more Hydras, and he's like, oh, okay, I guess I need supply. I do need those Overlords. And this Roach Force, wow. He's like, okay, 4GG is what Blast says. All these Hellions do kind of remind you of that. But he's going to be pushing on forward. Kind of an interesting mech bio composition that we have going on here, as this one Banshee going to be looking for a bit of DPS out on those roaches. Another Rack's going to be coming down on the back end, as we do have 6 Marines at a time coming on out. And Blast transfuses a roach, but he really needs to get his defensive force right here on the front line, because if he lets these tanks siege him up slowly, he's going to have a harder and harder time breaking this, especially with Widow Mines pushing forward, being able to put out that huge amount of splash damage. And there's the burrow of the mines. Oh, nice shot on the Overseer. Of course, absorbing the mine shot is more of what you want that Overseer to do. You'd rather have it hit the Overseer than hit your army, even though it is annoying when your Overseers continually get sniped by those Widow Mines. So there's no cloak for these Banshees. It's just going to be Banshees mixed into the mech composition. Mines getting, kind of soaking up some damage from the Roaches and the Hydras. Will end up having to burrow there. Hydras from the high ground going to be sniping a tank. A nice move there by Blast. Is going to be able to clean that up without any problem. There's the scan on the high ground. Maybe a bit of waste of a scan there, but he is going to be able to push away those Hydras, which will potentially allow Blast to move forward. Of course, being up 1-0 in this best of 3, he wants to finish things out right here, secure himself that top 3 position, have the opportunity to rematch against Spectre. In this case, Blast is actually the only player in the top 4 who hasn't actually played against Spectre. Those Widow Mines doing quite a bit of damage to the Roaches as they step forward. Again, a lot of splash damage, not necessarily killing all of the targets, but doing a lot of splash damage, as Blast is going to be able to tear through this force. A lot of those tanks not actually sieged up, and now Havoc has to turn tail and run as these forces just step on forward. His 3rd base will not really necessarily be long for this world, as he is way down in army supply, and even his upgrades are not doing very well, which is a +2-1 of Blast. And our purple Zerg is going to be marching on forward. He may be marching forward to victory, but he still has to tear through 50 army supply of Terran. A little bit of stutter step going on there from both players as they're trying to find kind of an optimal angle to engage. A little bit of split back from those Roach Hydra, and he's going to be able to tear through a lot of these Marines, as they really don't have the upgrades. They don't have the numbers to stand against this Roach Hydra army, as he drops the mules, sacrificing SCV after SCV, and the GG comes down. That will do it for our game number 2. And Blast shows his power. He did go up to 3 bases. He was indeed looking towards that later game, but, you know, I was kind of expecting him to do something maybe a bit more aggressive than that. So, ooh, Terraform is going to be the last map. Let's see, was it vetoed? It was not vetoed, so yeah, it is indeed the last map in this case. So we'll just get that last game up for you guys. We have one final match to showcase for all of you to see. And of course, that means that we have got one final opportunity for Havoc to bring it back, or for Blast to close things out. Because Blast is the guy who runs the tournament, and how cool for him would it be if he was able to win the entire event? That would be pretty cool. So Blast has requested a quick break, which means Shabam! We can actually keep an eye on him to see when he comes back. That's pretty crazy, right? Like, you wouldn't expect to be able to keep an eye on the player, see when he comes back from his break. Well, that was a bit louder than I was expecting it to be. All right, game number 3 of a best of 3. Havoc is not the sort of guy that I would really expect to kind of throw mind games into it. And Blast is the guy who talks about, like, oh, yeah, you know, you should probably, when you're in this tournament setting, like, play your game, play what you're most comfortable with. So those are, like, the guys that you wouldn't expect to go for the mind games. But I really want them to, because I like when people do just silly things that's like, this shouldn't work, but it only works because he's like mind gaming his opponent. And these are guys who they play on ladder. They play in these sorts of LANs, because there's a LAN in Central Florida every couple of months between Tampa LANs, which unfortunately I missed the last one. I was out of state at the time, very sad. Between UCF LANs, Tampa LANs, Gator LANs, which is the University of Florida LANs, of course the University of Central Florida LANs, which is what we're at now, the University of Central Florida, which actually you can see Blast right now. Whoop! He is trying to find his seat. He's walking around. He's like, hey, I need to figure out how to beat this stupid Terran player, because I don't like Terran, so I need to figure out how to beat him. That's what Blast is thinking right now. He's conferencing. He's conferencing. You guys can probably see him. The guy who just took off his jacket is the guy he's conferencing with. Blast has his back to the camera. I would get up and grab the camera and zoom in. Oh, they're trading jackets. It's a lucky jacket. Oh, is it a build order jacket? Does he have build orders written down on the inside of that jacket? They're secret build orders? I don't even know, man. I don't even know. It's crazy. Anything could happen here. Anything could happen. These guys, they're not pro players, but they bring the pro strats inside of their jackets. That's what it's about. So anyways, these two guys, you wouldn't expect them to be the ones to mind game, to do crazy things, but that's, of course, what I want to see. I want to be entertained. I want to have cool, fun games that we can talk about later. So that's, of course, what I'm looking for. These guys are probably just going to be playing, like, standard. Again, Roach Hydra is what Blast is going to be looking to do. He's going to do some sort of 2-3 base Roach Hydra, stop the Terran player from getting up and running, stop the Terran player from getting almost out of control, which is oftentimes it's like, oh, you got to stop the Zerg from getting up to 3-4 bases. You got to put pressure on the 4th base. You got to deny it, delay it, snipe it, whatever you can do. And now it's like, no, you got to stop Havoc from just tearing you apart, from creating havoc. Ha, ha, ha. By the way, the reason that there's so much space over here is, of course, There will be a co-commentator. Basically, whoever loses this series, their punishment is that they're going to be casting with me. So we're either going to be getting kind of the Zerg/Terran knowledge of Blast. He's primarily a Zerg player, but he also used to play Terran as well. So we're either going to be getting his sort of knowledge, or we're going to be getting Havoc. It's the violins of war, boys. The violins of war, because we are heading into our next and our final map of this best of 3. Who will claim ultimate victory? Welcome, welcome to Terraform for our game number 3. Things are all tied up. These two players have got something to prove, because this is all like local rivalry stuff. It's not WCS $30,000 first place or anything like that. This is local rivalry. A lot of times, these guys are buddies, they're friends, they're at least casually, you know, acquaintances. But anyways, in the bottom right-hand corner, our yellow Terran player, this is Havoc. And in the top left-hand corner, our purple Zerg. Give it up for Blast! All right. We are in our third game. And we have a very close series between these two players. Blast going to be opening up with that 15 pool, 15 hatch. Going to be going a little bit safer.
So what do you do?
So what did who do?
Blast.
So do you play StarCraft 2?
Yeah, I'm Baby.
You're who?
Backby.
Ah, so yeah. You're actually the guy who either one of these is going to be facing.
Yeah.
Ah,
okay,
so welcome.
This is a little fault.
Yeah, pull it right up to you.
All right, nice to be here.
All right, so I'm Cybert. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
You had a very nice performance versus Spectre.
Yeah, this is like...
He's very tough.
He's really good. Like,
yeah.
I did my best, but like he's just too good.
All right, so I'm expecting you to bring that Terran bias and that Terran knowledge.
Yeah, man, that's me. That's what I do.
Because I got the Terran bias and the Terran love, but I'm terrible at Terran, which is, why I'm commentating and not playing. So, you got to bring, like, the actual knowledge. Oh, Blast! See, he loves doing this. He loves pulling these lings around and, like, having them on the high ground.
Yeah,
but
that's a really good move.
If they miss the Reaper by a little bit, it almost doesn't do anything.
Yeah. If you had 4, you would have been a lot better. He actually could have trapped the Reaper if he had 4 lanes. But like he got to cover 2 fronts, so that makes it tougher.
Yeah, he definitely has a lot of trouble here. In the previous game, he ended up losing 4 lings to the Reaper, which is a bit troublesome. Or 4 drones, excuse me, to the Reaper.
4 drones?
Yeah.
That's insane. That should never happen against like...
He ended up winning the game, though.
I mean, Zerg can recover pretty fast.
That's true. Zerg Imba?
Yeah, kind of. Against Bio, that is.
Wow.
Not against Mac. Mac is Imba, man. It's OP.
We'll have to see if that's true. But that's a fast third command center coming out of Havoc. Really, I mean, he's just containing with these 2 Reapers. And
yeah, I don't know about that. That's not a very good move, especially against Blast, because he's like a really aggressive player. He does like his 2-base play. Yeah, he does Roach Bane, lean Bane, all in stuff, or like that. See, he puts down Roach Warren right now. And if he sees that fucking, excuse me, if he sees that third command center, he's going to do something about it. There's no way he's just going to let it go. And he sees that right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got eyes on that, which is like, if you wanted to go third command center, like you could hide it here. You could maybe even try to hide it here. Like this is not as good of a spot, but you could definitely hide it back here or try to do something like that. But he put it right out front, and yeah. I find that a bit weird.
He's basically saying that, you know, come all in me, I can hold it. But I'm not sure if you can actually hold, you know, a 2-base Zerg all in off of like such a quick command center. It's going to be extremely tough for Havoc to hold this.
So the gases at the natural have finally been added on. We saw those go down, you know, about a minute ago. And this is really, I mean, it's like a 2-base 1-1-1, but with the third command center that fast, you don't have any units.
That's not a very good build for from Havoc. He's going to do a Hellion Marine drop, which is just so hard countered by like Mass Roach that he's probably going to lose the game.
Havoc really likes his aggressive plays. He does this sort of stuff where it's like he moves out with just a few units and he tries to make something crazy happen. He'll move out with, you know, like 2 Reapers and then like 3 or 4 Hellions and 4 Marines, and he'll be like, let's go! And this time he's like packed along a Widowmine, but it's just these paltry forces, and he tries to make stuff happen with them.
It could be good if Blast was playing greedy, but that's not the case. Blast is actually playing really safe and offensive. You know, like he's getting a banding nest right now and 14 lings on the way, as well as 3 roaches and speed. So he can kill the third, but it doesn't really matter because, you know, Blast is not looking to macro up. He's looking to kill you right now.
This is a lot of forces, as you just mentioned. 3 queens here on the defense. The additional racks back at home finally going to be coming down for Havoc. His command center was so early, of course, it does delay his like racks 2, 3, and 4. But now, of course, he's got the production. He doesn't have the units out of that production yet.
Right. So look at how many workers Havoc has. 41 against 36. That's the amount of commitment that Blast has pulled up to like kill Havoc.
A lot of the army supply of Havoc is on the left side of the map and down south. It's not at the front where he needs it. Now, 8 Banelings morphing in.
And I don't think, does Havoc see this? Oh, he's going to see it now.
It's a bit too far out of his vision. He does see the roaches, but he doesn't quite see the Banes just yet.
Now he knows. Oh, okay.
Oh,
that's really bad.
All of the Marines are dead, and this is, of course, just the trap that Blast wanted to lay. 2 Widowmines get the burrow, but the splash damage is on the SCVs! Oh, poor Havoc as he just falls to the all-in of Blast. No third hatches needed for this kind of a build. 20 more lings on the production tab.
Yeah. Havoc's Blast is like, he's going all in with this. He's not stopping.
Wow, just all-out aggression. Havoc throwing down that third command center on the low ground at the front of the natural. It wasn't even part of a wall. He was just dropping that down. GG.
Damn, really nice reaction by Blast, you know, seeing that command center just like, you know, going straight into attack and not stop. That's what you got to do.
That was not the game that I expected. Like, games number 1 and 2 were much more slugfests. But that third game...
It was much more chaotic.
Yeah.
The third game... No. Havoc's build wasn't very good. He tried to go 3-base aggression, which was too slow in the first place. So, like, the thing is that what happened was when Havoc got to Blast base, Blast already had the units to defend, and Havoc couldn't do anything. But because he had a starport, and, you know, he had a reactor factories to make units to harass, he didn't have his barracks up. So he didn't have any actual units that can hold, like, Roach, Ling, Bang. And, you know, he started to add barracks when the attack was occurring, but it was too late. He just didn't kick in, you know, fast enough.
Yeah, because you get the racks, and then it's like you need 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds.
Yeah, then you need to build 2 reactors, or if you switch.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Then you can build, you know, Widowmines, which are really good against this. And then that Widowmine splash actually killed so many SCVs, man. That's insane.
I wish I would have been paying more attention to the worker count. It's probably like cut in half with those 2
like,
Widowmine shots.
Instant, you just drop like crazy,
That was a lot more damage in that little attack than I would have expected. But again, as you talked about, that opener from Havoc, it's one of those games where you look at it and you're like, that works if the Zerg, like you said, plays super greedy, doesn't attack for 10, 15 minutes. And Blast, he's not that guy.
Yeah, he's going on the offensive if he sees that opening. He's not gonna let you get away with 3 CCs that early.
So now we're in an interesting situation where Blast versus Begbie is actually our next map.
Yeah,
so,
that's me, man.
So tell me about this, because you're the only Terran left standing. It's 2 Zergs. You're guaranteed top 3, but now we just watch Havoc get massacred. So your last Terran brethren just fell. It's all up to you. You got to stand up to the pain and to the numbers of Zerg. Can you do it?
Yeah, I think I can, man. Like, you know, I can pull off some mind games against Blast because I 2-axed him last time I played.
That's right, yeah.
Which was pretty rough for him, but he was on a 4-player map. He wasn't expecting it. he told me he was expecting it, but he just somehow did not scout.
I think he's gonna 2-rax me. He's gonna 2-rax me.
Yeah.
But you know it's ridiculous, so you don't scout for it.
That's
but
like,
there's still like part of you that thinks.
Yeah. So that was actually what happened. He didn't see it coming until I had 2 bunkers right next to his hatchery, and then it was game over. It took him 10 minutes just to get out of his natural. So
the 10-minute leave your natural is a pretty good build from Zerg.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I have 3 CCs, double E-base, all the stuff I ever need. Yeah.
You were just wrecking shop. So tell me about this. You got to watch at least one game. I don't know, were you watching the stream before this?
Which games?
The Havoc versus Blast.
Yeah, I was watching actually right next to him.
Oh, okay. So you were watching the games. So were you taking mental notes of this is how I'm going to beat Blast? Like I 2-0'd him last time, but now I'm really gonna 3-0 him.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be tough either way because Blast is a really unpredictable, really aggressive sort of player. So the moment you kind of make a mistake, he'll just come in and just kill you. So it's always gonna be hard.
He does those Roach Hydra all-ins, and he just commits to it. So it's like I killed all the Roach Hydra, and then he just shows up with 20 more,
next wave's
and you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. He's not going to stop, and I think sometimes it's a good thing, but sometimes it's not. And we just have to play it out.
So when you start an all-in, how do you know whether you cut it off or commit to it?
I think that sometimes you just feel like this actually just. When you do an all-in, sometimes there's actually 3 situations. One is that you just kill them, and the second is that you do some damage. It's not game-ending damage, and so you just pull back and start drawing, because you cannot keep attacking because the production kicks in. If you keep attacking, you're just not going to be cost-effective.
But I mean, how do you know where that point is? Do you get inside of your own head where you're like, if I just a little bit more, I'll get the damage I need?
Yeah, you can actually feel that. It's like you just look at how many SCVs you kill, and gauge that amount, and see if you kill maybe 15 SCVs. You're like, okay, if I get back and drone up, I'll be fine.
So it's all just you're trying to calculate it in your head.
It comes from a lot of experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you kill 20 workers, you're really, really fine.
But thinking of TVZ, maybe in a best of 5, if you open up on Terraform with a 2-rax that's south of the Zerg's 3rd base.
Yeah, that's what I did.
And then you drop down 5 bunkers.
Yeah.
How do you know that you've committed too much? At what point?
At the point I saw his hatchery was laid, I knew it was a pull first, and I knew there was no return. I had to just give it my all. And then I just went, after that, he didn't really do as much damage as I would have expected because he had really good reaction. Although my micro was not bad, but it was a pull first. So it was actually a direct counter to 2-rax.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, therefore, he just made a bunch of leans. And I had to go back and just make 2 CCs. And another thing that he did that was really good was that he kept attacking my 3 supply depots on the top of the ramp with his lanes. So I had no Marines in my main.
Yeah, you
And
had to pull so many SCVs.
He's forming a wall between the supply depot and my Marines on the retreat. So like my Marines are never going to get into the bunker on the top of the ramp. And he just stood there for so long, kept attacking the supply depots. It actually cost me a huge amount of mining time, as well as, you know...
that's something that Havoc and I were talking about.
Yeah.
We were like, oh man, this is like so much lost mining time.
Yeah, it's actually insane how much damage it did.
Yeah.
I think I was fine with like how I, you know, executed the 2 racks, but what really killed me was that he just like kept attacking my supply depots for so long. I had to keep you know, repairing those. So yeah.
All right.
Which
well,
like, yeah, he's like a really experienced player. So yeah.
He is indeed. I've heard such things from the other guys who are in the tournament.
Absolutely, man.
All right. Well, best of luck in your best of 5 versus Blast, and then
I'll do my best.
Potentially your best of 5 to finish things off versus Spectrum. So yeah, best of luck.
Thank you.
See you around.
See you later. It was nice casting with you.
Thank you for coming over. Yeah, no problem. All right, boys and girls, we have, again, another best of 5. That was indeed Begbie, who is our next player. So once he gets back over to his computer, we're going to get everything set up. And I don't know if Havoc wants to come back and cast. He's certainly welcome to. But he might be feeling a little bit salty after after the way those games went. I think he was probably feeling a bit confident. And certainly game 1, he was looking good. But Blast turned up the aggression and turned up the fire for the last 2 games. So thank you all very much for tuning in. We've got more StarCraft 2 action on the way.